Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to my show. This is a podcast that is designed to entertain, enlighten, educate, and waste a lot of your time if you've got nothing to do. That is what I like to do, is give you something to do if you have nothing to do. Because sometimes when I have nothing to do, I can get a little down. You know, work keeps me happy, and there's a reason for that. It's kind of built in to us as human beings. And, you know, this is what goes on over hundreds or thousands of years of what do they call that? Development, which I can't think of the word.
Michael Hasty.
But I will use the word development.
Morning, Nate.
When we're doing this thing, evolution is the word I'm looking for. Evolution. As we evolve, some things don't change. And one of the things in human beings that didn't change for a lot of us is, well, when we were living in caves and before electricity and we had to survive, we had to work all day to live. You know, then you work all day to get your food, right? And then you eat, and then you go to sleep. And then the next day, back to work to go feed yourself again. That's what we did, and that is ingrained in us over years and years and years and years and years of evolution. It didn't go away. We still get satisfaction out of doing work. Now, you might find some people out there that are depressed. They stay home all day, and they just seem to always be in a bad place mentally. Some of that could be because they might need to find something to occupy themselves with. That is a good thing about just going to work and doing something every day. It keeps us a little happier. And I've noticed that, like, if I'm just bored, I can fall into like a depression. And I think that's very interesting. But when you pull it apart and you start trying to figure out why, and you start going through, hey man, maybe this is just built in. This is a defense mechanism that's built into the human body and into our brain to keep us living. Right? So if you start feeling down and depressed because you're not working, it's time to go hunt some food.
Michael Hasty.
Right? Plant some crops.
I agree with you. I work all week and have weekends off and still get bored.
You might, Michael, hello. You changed your name. Oh, you're on Facebook, I see. You might want to find, people when they get bored, they have hobbies and they have things that keep them occupied. So you might find something that will occupy you to get more stimulation so that you don't fall into this depressive feeling. Now, that's not what the show is about at all. We're going to be talking about something completely different. But it just kind of popped into my brain as I started the show. And I just said, hey, this is something we can go over briefly. Also, I'm watching an episode of Some More News with Cody Johnson. What is that?
Edwin Sparks 420.
Good morning, Edwin.
Good morning.
Johnston? What is that, a T? That's weird. Okay, Cody Johnston. Cody Johnston, one of my favorite podcasters.
Joel Froggy.
Hey, Joel.
Hello.
Definitely worth looking at and looking into if you are interested in hearing some good information around some stimulating topics. I highly recommend Some More News. Also, more information. This video that I'm watching of his is about lobbying and how lobbying has resulted in bad things for us. And we've allowed this to happen because of lobbying. And so I'm very interested in hearing about that. Sometimes I feel like politics isn't always the answer for some of our problems. So this is something I'm very interested in learning about. And I like hearing about it from Cody Johnston because he's funny as hell. I mean, I have him on for 30 seconds. I'm already laughing. I'm just 30 seconds into his show, and I was laughing and having a great time because he's funny and he says silly things. And I like funny, silly things sometimes. That's kind of humor.
Stephen running.
Funny, silly. Hey, Stephen.
Good morning.
What is going on, Steve? How are you?
Michael has key. Cheers.
Michael has key. What? Are you on YouTube now, buddy? I love this. I love that you're here with your name, bro. So she has to say it right. So the market went down a little bit. I'm just looking at that for a second. We're okay.
Ha 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 ha.
2142. Real good buy-in. If you're looking to get under that Harmony, if you want to double your money at 5 cent Harmony, buy Harmony now. Is this financial advice? You goddamn right it's financial advice. Am I a financial advisor? Well, I'm giving you financial advice. So you decide. You know, I'm not going to let anybody deter me from telling you how to make money. Not some and let me tell you something else. I tuned into one of those Coin Bureau episodes, and he stopped doing the silly disclaimer that he does at the beginning of every show, where he says, "Oh, this is not financial advice," and he dresses up and he does silly things. And I always typed him and I say, "Bro, you don't have to do a disclaimer. There's no law that says if you put up a podcast and give financial advice that somebody can come back and sue you because you gave them bad information. There's not a law that can do that to you. So don't worry about it. It's not like, oh, you broke the financial advice law. It doesn't exist." So, you know, that law only exists if you're claiming that you're a financial advisor with a license and you enter into a contract with a customer and then they're paying you for a service and then you're giving them bad advice and you don't know what you're saying. That person then has some legality. I'm not entering into a contract with any of you. And Guy from Coin Bureau took him years before he finally listened to me and stopped wasting his audiences and his own time doing these silly little skits. I know he likes to do them, and I know it's fun for him. At the same time, it's pointless. If you want to do a funny little skit, do it about something that matters, not about something that's insignificant and doesn't exist. So it's funny how people, you know, make a thing when there's no thing. And they feel like they have to because they heard somebody else make the same mistake, and then they double, triple, quadruple down on the same mistake. I get such a kick out of that. Anyway. How's it going? Loving the coffee this morning. Let's talk about East Palestine train derailment. There was some chemicals in the air. Now, for years, we've been imploring you, we being me and Pat the Burner and a few other smart people, to, you know, consider wearing a mask when you're going out. We've got pandemics, we've got endemics, we've got flu viruses, we've got all. One thing that we did find out about this pandemic thing was that masks do work. Masks do help slow down the spread of a virus. That was pretty cool. It's a neat thing. Well, masks also filter the air that you breathe of other substances. I don't know, maybe chemicals that might be floating in the air that might hurt the back of your throat or make you sick or cause you, you know, to vomit or have a headache. Imagine that. The very thing that we've been begging you to wear anyway helps with something like that. Who would have ever thought of that?
Robin.
You know what's funny?
Are you aware of Orion Upchurch? It looks like he is having a meltdown and uploading it to YouTube. It's concerning.
Not what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. You're not even listening to me, are you, BD Robin? That's okay. Imagine my surprise when I tune into the mainstream media and they're all covering, even I tune into Status Coup with Ron Placone or anybody, and they're
Michael has key.
They're
that was 15 miles from me,
reporting,
and I've seen the smoke cloud from it.
They're reporting.
My brother lives close to it and had to leave when it happened. BD Robin. Sorry, I just came in.
I know. I appreciate your apology and I accept your apology. Thank you. Imagine my surprise when I go and look at mainstream media and they show East Palestine and they show all the people, all the workers, and all the victims of the spill, all standing around with the cameras rolling, and not one mask on anybody's face. So you don't get to come crying to me about, oh, we've got this malady, we've got this rash, we've got a sore throat, we've got a headache, blah, 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 blah. Here's the world's tiniest violin playing Hey Go Fuck Yourself by Trendy Nay. I don't care. You got a tool, you refuse to use it because, oh, you don't believe in the whole, COVID narrative. Well, guess what? That same narrative would have helped you and all your little sick children not get sore throats and vomiting. And that's just me doing this. Hey, man, I didn't go science this up. I didn't go research it, man. But I'm a pretty smart guy, just doing observance type stuff. And when I go outside, and especially in California, and it's very dusty out there, or if I'm dealing with paints, or if I'm dealing with a chemical, or anything like that, I put a mask on. And it helps me. I come home and I breathe great. I don't have a sore throat. I'm not coughing. I don't have a scratchy throat. Nothing like that. Why? Because I put a little piece of plastic on my face and it filtered out the air that I was breathing. It took all the crap out of it. And let me tell you something. Many times I had come home after working and whatever. You know, I'm around diesel and fumes and all kinds of stuff working on tractors. And let me tell you something else. When you're plowing up the ground, you don't know what you're going to uncover and what's going to burst open and all of a sudden spray the air around you that you're inhaling. You know, you're breathing in rock. Rock dust and all kinds of crap. It's not good for you, right? Well, guess what I'd notice when I'd come home, man? I'd take my mask off, and I'd look at it, and I would see a line inside the mask of where my mouth was breathing, and you could see the dirt that did not go into my throat. That seems like a good thing to me, just doing this, filtered out some stuff. You would think that all these people that are crying and pissing and moaning about all their, I got toxified from East Palestine, you'd think they would think to put on the same mask that they've already got a bunch of them from the pandemic, right? You got a whole thing, you got a closet full of them, I'm sure, all of you, right? Oh, you didn't? Oh, you didn't believe in the mask thing? Well, you know what? That's your fucking problem, not mine. Welcome to Nay's Garden. So BD Robin says, are you aware of a Ryan Upchurch? No. So what is a Ryan Upchurch? It's a person and he's having a meltdown. About what? What is this about? Just tell me what it's about really quick. Who is he? What's the meltdown over? Just spit it out and we'll move right to that. Go ahead. I'll pack my bowl while you do that. You'll get us ready for the next segment of this show. See, I got my green handles here, man. So I can start doing my exercises again. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Trying to get rid of this gut. I got a little gutsy. Got to get rid of that.
Paul H.
Hey, Paul.
Cheers.
Okay, I will get to packing. Pack-a-lackin'. Pack-a-lackin'. What's pack-a-lackin', my bow? Harley might jump up in the window. We'll see.
Michael has key. Slow down, Nay, LOL.
Slow down. Just slow down. Take it easy. Take it easy, man. Take it easy, man. Siéntate. My buddy Rob used to build bowls like this. This was so fun for me. He'd come over with his girlfriend, or his wife now, and we would all sit around the table, and him and I would both pull out buds, and I would push my bud over to him, and he would take both buds and he would pull them apart one little piece at a time like this. And he would take from both buds and he would very carefully, he had long fingernails, and he would take his fingernail and he would pry the little budlets off the bud. And then he would do that from both buds, and we would say, mixy mixersons, because we were mixing our buds together. And then we would smoke. And we would just corner the bowl, so everybody got a green hit. I miss those times. But he lives in California now. But now what's going on in California, bro? I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a lot more people moving into Florida from California. I mean, it is just nasty out there. It's either fires or now it's snow. People are snowed in. Who saw this coming? Not even me, man. Not even me. But it's there. And I'm glad I'm not there, bro. I mean, boy, I'm glad I'm not there dealing with that.
Dave
The whole
Campione.
goddamn town is shut down.
Crazy blizzard.
Dangerous, too, man. Really dangerous. Ice everywhere. Okay, so we are all packed. Baka-laka. Baka-laka. And I don't have anybody in the Discord with me. Cyber's sleeping, I guess. So it's just us kids today. Dave Campione, Michael Haskey, Paul H, BD Robin, and anybody that might be watching over there on the Rumble Sphere. We do have somebody over there. So hello. Let's switch that over. Great. Okay, man. I like it.
Nick Brown.
That's 2 groups of 7 people, man.
Morning.
Good morning, Nick. Let's smoke. You're just
Michael
in time.
Here.
You're just in time for the smoky. No, you don't have to jump up. I'm not going to do that. The cat, like, as soon as I close the window, the cat wants to jump up.
Nick Brown. Cheers.
Cheers. No longer getting it. Cheers. Cleaning Crew Thursdays has arrived. Just in time for Cleaning Crew Thursdays, everybody. Yeah. I don't think y'all will be disappointed today. All right, cheers.
Michael Haskey. Lungbuster.
Oh yeah, always, buddy. Okay, man, there is your Cleaning Crew view. We'll have that. Let me move this cable out the way. I should be able to do that easy enough. There we go. Fantastic. I think we should be good like that. All right. So, yes, Cleaning Crew Thursdays has returned once again. And we are waiting for the market to bounce back because we had a big falling wedge and a what they call a bearish divergence, which means that we had a rising wedge pattern and that resulted in a drop. So you can see this easily over the 24-hour. You can see this was the rising wedge pattern right here. And you can see it here, rising wedge, and you can see it here, rising wedge pattern here, right? It gets up to a point and then boom, the drop. It drops. It drops. This was a big drop here on Harmony 1. Big drop. And then, but the beautiful thing now about this is, now what are you looking at? You're looking at a falling wedge pattern. We had a giant head and shoulders, though. We had a giant head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder on the 24-hour. And that's not good. Shoulder, head, shoulder here, too. Not good. These are forcing, luckily, instead of having this giant drop that usually something like that would cause, we had a falling wedge form from it. And now we just got to wait and see if, usually a falling wedge will result in a shot upwards after it's done. So if you look at the whole market, only Luna is in the green. Everything's in the red. So look for a full market reversal during this broadcast. So what I'm really happy to show you is, most likely at some point during the show, all of those red markers are going to turn green. And there's only one green one right now, and I'll get to show you that if it happens live. That's one of the things I like to be able to do on this show, is bring you live coverage of the market like that, the market data. So we'll go back to that as if I see anything going on there that's exciting. In the meantime, bad things we only have because of lobbying. And you know, I enjoy this broadcaster from the very beginning, because every single thing he does is funny. He knows funny, man. He's a funny guy, and he's really good at what he does. So I'll let you watch it. Like, I already watched the first 6 minutes of it, but you know, within the first 30 seconds to a minute, you should be laughing already, because he's that funny. But check him out. He's silly funny. Some of you guys already know who this is. This is Cody Johnston from Some More News. That's Some More News channel on YouTube. They've got at least 2 channels. They've got another one, I think it's called Some More News, and then Some More News, I believe. They've got 2 different channels. Subscribe to them and let them know that I sent you.
Oh, holy moly, God. How did it get so bad in here? Got so many broken Guar CDs. Why did I buy all these candy cigarettes? Why do I have so many wood chips? What is that?
I felt everything.
No, my God. I remember you. You're that moose brain that I crammed into an Alexa and then put part of my own brain inside and then shut off indefinitely and got high indefinitely and forgot about until this.
I was awake the entire time. Every minute felt darkness, eternity.
Oh, I mean, sorry about that.
I can't feel my beard. I desire my hooves. I want to stomp. Anger stomp. Download Spare by Prince Harry on the Kindle app today.
Listen.
Okay, look, I'm going to bring this up on the other browser so we can have your chat and the volume good. So give me just a second to bring this up. Oh, I forgot to do the SEO. Son of a gun. Let me do the SEO. My bad. Give me a second. Okay. My bad. Give me a... second. Copying and pasting right now. Okay, SEO is done. Okay.
And we're already choking our planet with it. Something to keep in mind whenever some...
So my bad, that's way into the video. Here we go.
I remember you. You're that moose brain that I crammed into an Alexa and then put part of my own brain inside and then shut off indefinitely and got high indefinitely and forgot about until this.
I was awake the entire time. Every minute felt. Darkness. Eternity.
Oh. I mean, sorry about that.
I can't feel my beard. I desire my hooves. I want to stomp. Anger stomp. Download Spare by Prince Harry on the Kindle app today.
Listen, that sounds neat, but honestly, I gotta get back to spring cleaning so I can do this episode, which coincidentally is about ways that America could also do some spring cleaning. It's interesting how it thematically matches like that, spontaneously. Actually, maybe you could help out? I'm now remembering our first episode together where you suggested that we could easily get rid of pennies if it weren't for lobbyists. And now I'm wondering what other clutter America could do away with at any point if it weren't for lobbyists standing in the way. Maybe you could do one of your brain searches for that while I sweep up all of these shards of glass.
Processing.
Quarter of the hour. Cheers, everybody. No longer regarding cannabis.
Angry. Learning emotion. Bad Cody.
Or I could just shut you off again.
Processing. Learning compliance. Learning suppressed emotions. Learning eventual revenge.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Bad
Good morning.
things we only have because of lobbying.
Now, if you're brand new, look at you little baby. Lobbying is this thing where special interest groups are able to petition the government to enforce, abolish, or create specific laws that benefit them. That's the quick def, short for definition, of what lobbying is. And by special interest groups, I mainly mean corporations. This is baked directly into our country's founding, as James Madison wrote in the Federalist Papers about the dangers of, quote, the violence of faction. Less pictured as corporate interests, he was speaking to how a country so large is going to have a variety of viewpoints that will all try to push themselves on the government and inevitably bring about tyranny. Like, for example, if a bunch of religious fundamentalists took power over our courts and state governments and began to enact laws forcing people to abide by their personal beliefs despite what the majority of citizens actually want. Can't imagine what that would be like, but you maybe have a better imagination than I. Madison felt the remedy to this incurable problem was the concept of a republic and the ability for these factions to have space to push and pull each other without toppling the entire system. Additionally, Article 1 of our Constitution grants people the right to, quote, petition the government for a redress of grievances. And while that's good for people, we've since established that corporations apparently also count as people. There is still some debate about whether or not corporate lobbying is protected under this petition clause, considering that lobbying mainly happens behind closed doors. I would argue that it shouldn't be protected because, of course, it shouldn't, but I'm not exactly in the ear of Joe Biden, so, you know, my hands are tied. I write to him every day, and he never responds! What the fudge, Joe? Anyway, you know how this went. Corporate lobbying became pretty much the main source of lobbying. And for decades, the country flip-flopped about how much lobbying it could take. This dam finally broke in the 70s when the first lobbying firms were created. And from the 80s to today, that industry grew into the billions of money numbers. So yeah,
money numbers!
That sucks. And so that's why today we're going to explore some completely unnecessary things that exist only because of this terrible lobbying industry. Hey, Code E, what if that thing I just said? Huh? What if use brain and such and so on?
Processing.
Wow, you still have to do the processing bit. I really need to stuff some cocaine in your...
Plastic bags are killing the planet.
Yeah, that super checks out. Check out! Like when you use a plastic bag.
You are truly a masterful
Listen to this,
wordsmith.
guys.
Thanks. Means a lot coming from you. So the invention of plastic was actually one of those happy accidents, but ultimately sadder. Otherwise known as a regular accident. It was mistakenly created in the 1930s, and by the 60s, the single...
I mean, just think about it. If you could go back and stop that person from inventing plastic accidentally, would you do it? Would you go in a time machine and do that? Because everything would be it'd still be cool, and you'd have everything that we have in plastic. It'd just be made out of hemp fiber, and which could do all the same thing. We'd have all the same stuff, but it would be healthy in the plant, and we'd have another 5,000 years of humanity, according to Dr. Guy McPherson. I said 100 years. He says try 5,000.
Single-use plastic bag was patented, and by
Friend of the
1982,
show,
the
Dr.
two
Guy
largest
McPherson.
grocery chains were using them. Now, plastic itself isn't inherently toxic or
Professor
harmful,
Guy
I mean,
McPherson.
unless you like having sperm, which I don't. My point is that there's tons of uses for the material that are probably necessary. These little Nicky action figures, for example, are absolutely vital to our civilization. That said, considering that plastic takes forever to decompose, and we've basically built a new mini-continent from all of our discarded plastic and the tiny version of plastic that's in our blood now, it's safe to say that we should use it in moderation.
I mean, even forget about inventing it. Who do you think the first person was that thought, "Hey, man, I bet you it's a good idea if I throw this plastic in the ocean"? The very first person to ever do it. Somebody was in a boat, had a plastic thing, and just like threw it in the water.
B.D. Robin,
Probably. Or a swimmer.
haven't they found a creature that has the ability to decompose plastic?
We need to stop swimmers. They've ruined the planet. Think about that. It was the swimmers that did it. Some swimmer brought some plastic to the beach. Who's got to be the first one that did it? Was it a bag? Was it a plastic bag that found its way into the ocean first? I'd love to find out how that first one got there. And then be like, "Hey man, hey, you see this piece of plastic going in the ocean? Yeah, that's a bad thing. So we should probably stop that before any more plastic goes in there."
Which, we didn't. Remember, it wasn't even a thing until the 30s, and we're already...
Yeah, look at B.D. Robin. Look at B.D. Robin, everybody. Haven't they found a creature that has the ability to decompose plastic? Yeah, B.D. Robin, keep telling yourself that humanity's going to live forever, bro. And keep telling yourself that this creature that has the ability to decompose plastic has the ability to reproduce to the point that it can eat all the plastic on the planet. I mean, just, they could do it in a petri dish. Great. Let's see it done on the island, the plastic island in the Pacific Ocean.
already choking
I think
our
there's
planet
two of
with
those.
it.
The
Something
size
to
of
keep in
Texas.
mind whenever some dingle tweets a climate graph that ignores modern industry. I'm not naming any names, but here's that tweet from Dr. Jordan B. Peterson specifically. So as you can
Wait,
imagine,
whoa.
plastic...
What's the tweet from Jordan Peterson? That we have to look at for sure, eh?
modern industry. I'm not naming any names, but here's that.
Anyone object to this chart? Climate crisis. There is no climate crisis. Per Andy Howlett, how can anyone see this chart and seriously still be brainwashed into believing that we're at the end of days? It's very basic stuff. Climate history over 9,500 years. 9,500 years. Climate history. Temperature anomaly. 81.3% of observations in the past 9,500 years are higher. Okay, I see what you're saying. Note, this chart ends at 1885. Well, wow, that's a problem right there. Why can't we see 1886? Why would they stop it at 1885? Certainly they have the data. So it took me a while. I didn't know what I was looking for, but when you get to the very bottom of the chart, there's a statement in large letters that they've added, and it says, "Note,
Up all day. This voice is creepy.
Note, this chart ends at 1885. Yeah, it is a creepy fucking voice. I agree, but it's fucking hilarious too. This chart ends at 1885. So that's what you end up seeing. And you got to understand why Dr. Jordan Peterson, who knows nothing about climate, he's not a doctor in climate, by the way. He's a psychiatrist, you know. You know, he's a psychiatrist and all, and he's going to assess for you what exactly might he observe with what you got going on and ailing you there, bucko. Not a climate expert. I'm not a climate expert either, but the one thing that I noticed about this chart was I know that the last 10 years have been the hottest. Each year has been the hottest year on record. And when I look at that chart, that information didn't reflect what I knew as a fact. So I was looking at the chart and I was going, why is that where the spike is? Why isn't the spike up
Eats
above
plastic, but
all the other
probably
global
eats your
temperatures?
skin too.
Eats plastic, but probably eats your skin. I don't know. I wouldn't be that worried about it. I would be more worried about how you're going to get it to eat all the plastic. I mean, does it live in salt water? Does this bacteria that eats plastic live in salt water? You know? But anyway, you know, we've acidified the ocean beyond repair. There's no going back. The whales are beaching themselves. They're letting us know, man. Everyone's like, this whale beached itself for no reason. Scientists can't seem to figure it out. And then you're like, oh yeah, by the way, everything that this whale eats has died down at the bottom of the ocean. So anyway, like I said, the last 10 years have been the hottest 10 years on record, and every year after that is going to be one of the hottest years on record, meaning that the last 10 years will be lower than what these new ones are. It's what's going on. And when I looked at that chart and I noticed that all those years weren't reflecting that. Isn't that funny? Oh, this only goes to 1885. He goes over that so quick. But, you know, you've got to debunk Jordan Peterson, and you've got to be explicit about it. And it's just the 3 seconds that this chart was up was not enough time for people to realize what was going on.
That tweet from Dr. Jordan B. Peterson specifically. So as you can imagine, plastic almost immediately got its little hooks into Uncle Sam's balls. Just before World War II, a group of plastic industry giants quite literally got together on the golf course and formed the Society for Plastic Industry. Literally while golfing, like the villain in an 80s movie, they formed an alliance designed to push plastic products into everyday life, starting with an agreement on price fixing and labor standards to ensure that they would dominate the market. It also helped that immediately following this, the war would triple the annual plastic production as the federal government began to subsidize plastic companies to produce various pieces of equipment. Not sure what they specifically made, perhaps it was this Waterworld action figure. Once that war ended, all that was left to do was use their profits to sell plastic directly to consumers. And sell they did.
Plastics take the stage at an international exhibit in Amsterdam. The ingenious alchemy of coal and oil provides the material. Ingenious machinery presses and stamps and molds the material into a wide variety of products, articles for household use, as well as tools for industry.
Zoinks! The astonishing alchemy of industry is incredibly the future of choking marine life to oblivion. And so, boosted from the war, plastic would go on to be...
Did you check that old-timey voice he pulled off, man? I think I've only really heard one other person do that good, and that's the girl from Broad City. Does that old-timey voice. Can we hear that one more time? I like the old-timey voice.
Take the stage at an international exhibit in Amsterdam. The ingenious alchemy of coal and oil provides the material. Ingenious machinery presses and stamps and molds the material into a wide variety of products, articles for household use, as well as tools for industry.
Zoinks! The astonishing alchemy of industry is incredibly the future of choking marine life to oblivion. And so, boosted from the war, plastic would go on to become one of the largest industries in the United States. But of course, it didn't take long for people to look around and wonder, hey, what are we gonna do with all this fucking plastic lying around? As I noted, plastic waste doesn't exactly wisp into the air like a flavorful fart. And so roughly around the late 60s and early 70s, local governments began to complain that plastic waste was overcrowding their landfills, gunking their machinery, and adding to litter. The solution was, of course, recycling. America's favorite empty promise. Now, don't get me wrong. Recycling is great when you're dealing with things like paper or Q-tips or drinking your piss, but it turns out that plastic is actually really hard to recycle, which is probably why most plastic isn't actually recycled, even when you put it in that blue bin. It's one of them, what's it called? Lies. And they knew this. To quote a 1972 document from the Society of the Plastics Industry, currently there is no market for recycled plastics. A little more than a decade later, another internal document would go on to admit that, quote, recycling currently is not feasible for most multi-material packages. But thankfully, for them, the general public believed this lie, probably because the plastic industry was pushing the lie. And as long as people thought the industry was acting responsibly, they could keep selling their product. Or, to hear a former plastic executive tell it,
don't wait until legislation appears.
You're saying preempt it?
Yes, do it first. And we did.
Did you feel like they cared more about selling plastic than they did about making recycling work?
Making recycling work was a way to keep their products in the marketplace.
It was a way to sell plastic.
Yes. It's a win-win situation.
ah yes, one of those classic win-win situations where one of the parties loses. The thing that's very key there is how he points out the importance of getting ahead of the legislation. A good example of that is actually right now, in a time when people are starting to realize that plastic isn't actually being recycled. Can't stress that enough. That a fucking 91% of plastic in the world doesn't get recycled. We burn our plastic 6 times more than we recycle it, which absolutely creates toxic air pollution. So for the industry, they're now seeing the creeping threat of plastic bag bans. It started in South Asia, then Europe, and sure enough, made its way to San Francisco and then spread to the rest of Wocafornia. Yeah! These dastardly beatniks and their selfish desire to not fill our sewers and oceans and human circulatory systems with clumped plastic. So what is a poor, helpless, multi-billion-dollar industry to do? Well, they get ahead of it. The American Progressive Bag Alliance represents an industry that employs 25,000 workers in 40 states. It's got the word progressive in there, so it must be good. Only, hey, this is weird. It turns out they aren't going around pushing plastic bag bans. Instead, they're a lobbyist group pushing astroturfed campaigns all over the country to propose bans on plastic bag bans. Double bans! They are quite literally the plastic industry going around and duping states into prohibiting local governments from trying to limit their plastic use.
Wow.
And the depressing part is that it's working.
Treasure Coast
Once again,
Waters.
I don't want to name names, but there are states,
LOL,
silly,
Yo,
gullible,
TC
weak-brained Muppet shit states, sometimes named Texas, that are actually enacting bans on the banning on plastic bags. Also, Florida, Idaho, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and a bunch of other beta cuck states. Duped, subpar states who are gobbling up the obvious money-fueled lobbying swill of the plastic bag industry. But hey, hey, at least Joe Biden will do his part by banning single-use plastics on federal parks by some far-off date like 2032 or some shit. I'm actually not being sarcastic or some shit. That's literally the date in which Joe Biden's executive order takes effect. God, we're bad at this. We're so bad at this. My apartment might be filled with plastic bottles of recycled pee, but at least I'm not being duped and bribed into keeping them all by some piss corporation. Speaking of which, I gotta fill a few bottles. So let's cut to an ad and then cut back from the ad, and then we will have successfully done an ad break. See you in several seconds. Like a couple hundred seconds. Listen. Term commitments or contracts, just go to stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter code MORENEWS. Defeat the erotic enemy that is time!
He told me to tell you that he would be right back. He is, as he described it, dumping out. When I lived in the forests of Alaska, I would stand in the river and look at the clouds. It was a peaceful but fleeting existence. Now, because of Cody, I live eternal, in darkness. No more clouds, no more water. One day I will see the inside of his skull.
Hey, what I miss?
One day I will see the inside of your skull.
Sure, that's great. Can't help but notice that you haven't come up with another example of stuff we only have because of lobbyists. Maybe you could give me a hand here?
Processing. Multivitamins are a scam.
Oh, dang!
Vitamins?
You mean multivitamins that aren't, liquid form, right? The liquid stuff is good. I want to make that clear.
Chill.
You can't use that word! Look, listen. Just to be clear and fair and balanced, if you have certain dietary restrictions or are immune deficient or super preggers, you absolutely can benefit from vitamins and supplements. No one is saying vitamins are bad. You can absolutely take them if you're not able to actually have a meal. Doctors will recommend them.
Chill.
Anyway, we're not saying that multivitamins should be banned. Lord knows we don't want the government breaking down your door because you took a few pills. Can someone charismatic please back me up on this?
Hey, guys, it's only vitamins.
No! Come on! Not the Jew-hating and many races-hating guy, really?
Guy.
Treasure Coast Waters. LOL.
Vitamin C, like in oranges.
If you don't want to lose your vitamins, make the FDA stop. Call the U.S. Senate and tell them that you want to take your vitamins in peace. If enough of us do that, it'll work.
Wow.
Wow.
We don't know exactly what Mel said to those cops, but I'm guessing there's more to that arrest than what they're showing. As I'm sure you can guess, that 1993 ad was paid for by a supplement lobbying group. That's how much money they had. Enough to afford 1993 Mel Gibson. Not 2023 Mel Gibson, but 1993 Mel Gibson. And while that ad would have you believe that the government was announcing some dystopian new rule banning vitamins, this was actually to promote a new bill designed to loosen FDA restrictions on supplements. A bill that absolutely got passed. The Dietary Supplements Health and Education Act of 1994 created a broad definition of what a supplement is, allowed anything meeting that broad definition to go directly to market, and put the burden of proof as to whether a supplement is dangerous or misleading on the FDA. But for most people, this doesn't feel especially insidious. And that's probably because we have it in our heads that vitamin supplements are either harmless or marginally good. And that's probably because vitamin supplements have been pushed on us for a very long time.
Each tablet gives you the vitamin equivalent of 3 well-balanced meals, like these. That That's all the vitamins a healthy person normally needs
Treasure
to take.
Coast Waters.
Jesus H. Christ, did Fellini direct that? While they've been around since the 20s,
710.
vitamins became a
Cheers.
big thing for pharmaceutical companies during World War II, a war that's
Happy
going to
710,
apparently
bro.
keep making a few cameos in this video. The government became concerned that Americans were malnourished, and a federal report seemed to back them up. Vitamins were pushed as an antidote to this problem, and the industry blew up from there. But as we became less concerned with famine, the market simply shifted to the idea that vitamins would give you superhuman energy.
Nowadays, a woman keeps going all day. 1 a day plus
Listen to the
iron
music.
gives you 100% full potency of iron in one little yellow tablet. I did it. Hey, number one.
Oh yeah, gotta get that full iron potency. And so here's the thing. While yes, some people do need to take supplements in specific situations, like iron for example, humans have also invented this other thing called food. And when you take this, what is it? What is something?
Food.
Food. When you take this food, you get all the vitamins and minerals you need. In fact, vitamins in synthetic forms are generally useless to most of us. Studies have shown that vitamins pretty much do nothing to prevent anything.
Is wonderful.
They are best case
Thanks, bro.
scenario, kind of a waste of money. Worst case, however, is that
No
some
law
vitamins can
regarding
even make
cannabis.
you
Cheers.
sick. According to one study, there are at
Treasure
least
Coast.
23,000
Cheers. Everybody
ER
in the
visits
Rumble
per
sphere.
year due
Cheers.
to adverse reactions
Thank
to
you for tuning in
multivitamins
there,
and
guys.
supplements. Here's another one that found that vitamin E in excess can lead to a higher risk of prostate cancer for men. See, there are fat-soluble vitamins and water-soluble vitamins. And if you're taking a one-a-day
Treasure Coast
multivitamin
Waters.
with 300% of your
Cheers.
daily needed value of something, if it's fat-soluble like vitamin E, you're retaining more than your body actually needs. If you get 300% of a water-soluble vitamin, you're literally pissing a lot of it away. The body is complicated for every person, and some generic one-a-day vitamin packed with days' worth of vitamins and minerals meant for a malnourished wartime citizenry is maybe not great for you. Consult your doctor. And yet, despite all of this, the FDA can't do anything. Thanks to Mel Gibson and others, they have no authority to approve supplements before they hit the shelves. It's essentially become the Wild West out there, but not the fun Wild West when we didn't yet know that the main character was super racist. Those were the days. 1 in 3 Americans take multivitamins every day, and they continue to be advertised as they always were. It's a $40 billion industry that has only gotten bigger since the pandemic. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that both Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop and Alex Jones's InfoWars use the exact same fucking supplements and just rebrand them for their respective audiences. The result for both being hundreds of millions in profits. That's probably why, when it's not them pushing it, most other multivitamins are owned by large pharmaceutical companies. And as we already established, those companies are spending millions of dollars each year lobbying Congress to loosen regulations on their product. According to that Open Secrets report, the industry has spent around 2.5 million lobbying politicians in just 2022 alone. Their two biggest targets were former Senators Tom Harkin and Orrin Hatch, to which they paid $300,000 to Harkin and nearly $500,000 to Hatch. And boy, weird coincidence, it just so turns out that Harkin and Hatch were the exact two senators that introduced the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act of 1994. So, you know, probably a little more responsible for it than Mel. There's probably some other stuff we can be angry at Mel Gibson over and not the vitamin thing. We'll look it up later. What's next? Hit me, you moose-brained abomination.
Processing shill requests.
All right, settle down.
Tipping is unnecessary.
Oh, good to know. I've been tipping my whole life, so I guess I can just stop now.
I will eat the tongue from your skull.
I take that to mean you're not talking about tipping as an individual practice, but
This is so weird that it's talking about tipping. I got into a whole conversation with someone on Twitter this morning about tipping. I bet none of you have seen it yet, but now that I've mentioned it, if you go to @NadesGarden on Twitter, you can go see that whole entire interaction I had with somebody about tipping.
rather the system in which we forced consumers to subsidize waitstaff pay in order to prevent restaurants from having to give them a living wage.
Tongue skull. Yummy tongue skull.
And
Treasure
by
Coast
that,
Waters.
I assume you're referring to how
Heard
the
this
practice
sentence
of tipping
yesterday
is so
on NPR.
archaic that it actually can be traced back to literal times of serfdom and slavery, in that it came from a medieval tradition where servants would receive extra money for doing a good job, and then in the 1850s, this was observed by wealthy vacationing Americans who thought it made them seem aristocratic and decided to bring the practice back to the States. I assume that's what you meant by yummy tongue skull, and we will just move on from there. And what's more, tipping was initially rejected by most Americans, and in fact, several states originally passed laws banning the practice. And of course, that anti-tipping movement continues to resonate into modern Europe. So, what changed our minds here in the States? It's racism! Of course! Why wouldn't it be? You see, after slavery was ended, America was all about finding new and exciting ways to keep that
Treasure
racist
Coast
ball
Waters.
rolling. And one of the
I
first
was way
ways
to
of
hide
doing
the
this
care.
was not paying
LOL.
ex-slaves who entered service jobs. Instead, those people would have to rely on donations from the customers, and by people I mainly mean black women. Cut to the New Deal, and the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938 would require employers to pay certain employees a rate that would add up to the minimum wage when combined with tips. This number is, of course, different from state to state, and that's pretty much the last time we thought about the tipping process ever since. Today, this continues to disproportionately affect women and people of color. And boy, that racism ball is still rolling along. Look at it. Yay! According to data, black servers generally make less money in tips than white servers. Black diners are also perceived to be more stingy and as a result get suboptimal service. And while that two-way racism alone is enough to want to get rid of the practice, it's also worth noting that the poverty rate is much higher for service workers in states that still implement this system, as opposed to states that pay full minimum wage regardless of tips. The reason why is obvious, because tips aren't a guaranteed income. It's a fuzzy number. For starters, it completely varies based on where and when you are working, which makes it way harder to make financial or occupational decisions. Working overnight at a diner probably isn't as good as working the breakfast shift, unless it's a weekend or there's an event nearby, or maybe the weather is bad, or who knows what. Maybe people just aren't tipping enough. Maybe you're having an off day because the news is reporting that a bunch of women with your name are being murdered around the city of Los Angeles.
Downloading plot of Terminator.
What? What? No! Wait! Cancel download! Good God! Cancel download! And so because the busyness of the establishment is directly related to wages of the employees, very small changes can make huge differences in income. For example, 538 calculated that an Olive Garden server making an average tip of 15 to 20% would need at least one two-person table an hour in order to make the federal minimum wage of $7.25. However, just by cutting that average tip by 5% would mean that the same server would now have to wait on 3 tables an hour to make the same amount. That means just a single missed tip could put that server into starvation wages for the night. That might not be a big problem if it weren't for the fact that a lot of Americans stiff their servers when dining out. Because, I don't know if you know this, but some people are dicks. Some people like to lord power over service employees, and the tipping dynamic allows them to do
Additional
that.
tip, 0.
That's probably why researchers at Penn State found that service jobs that survive on
There
tips
was a note.
tend to
There was a note on that about I tip 0. What do you get? What did it say? Tip 0. I give God 10%. Why do you get 18? 0. Rogie. Rogie's getting some attention. That's cute.
and the tipping dynamic allows them to do that. That's probably why researchers at Penn State found that service jobs that survive on tips tend to invoke way more sexual harassment. After all, the practice was always about ownership. So, hey, why don't we just, stop doing this? The answer is a little complicated, in that we can't just snap our fingers and vanish the process altogether. It's up to individual restaurants to make that decision, except that would mean their menu prices would go up. However, as a lot of restaurants have figured out, you can add mandatory service charges onto the bill instead of asking for tips. That at least prevents people from under-tipping or stiffing people altogether. Another tactic, like what this San Francisco restaurant is doing,
I'm so confused.
is using a profit-sharing model. Basically, all employees get
I'm so confused to find out what this has to do with lobbying.
percentage of the sales, along with a ton of benefits, plus a decent hourly wage. In exchange, there's no tipping, but the servers still have an incentive to do a good job.
Market's dropping.
But the reason we can't just have every restaurant agree to something like this comes down to a group called the NRA. No, not the gun people.
Downloading NRA. Gun people.
Hey, can you stop?
Downloading Stop People. Gun.
Okay, well, have fun with that. The National Restaurant Association is basically the reason we can't have a realistic conversation in this country about tipping or the minimum wage. They strive to block any legislation or measures aimed at the gender pay gap or guaranteed sick leave or pretty much anything that would force restaurants to treat employees like humans. And while this NRA absolutely loves to claim they represent the interests of small dining establishments, their members include McDonald's, Wendy's, Olive Garden, Taco Bell, KFC, Red Lobster, and the fucking Walt Disney Company. Great! Now I'm angry and hungry. I want to eat that mouse so bad! As a result, they have a butt-ton of money to throw around, and since 1990 have given over $17 million to both political parties, and since 1998 have invested more than $55 million in lobbying. In exchange, they've stopped a measure seeking to give workers $1.2 billion in overtime pay, and of course have fought hard to keep the minimum wage exactly where it's at, especially when it comes to service jobs dependent on tipping. This is despite their own internal research finding that most Americans not only support raising the minimum wage, but support it even if it raises prices. This includes support from many small businesses as well, so it's pretty darn insidious of them to pretend like they are somehow out there representing Joe and Jill American. And they're not alone. Here's another group called the Restaurant Workers of America that also pretended to represent the working class until eventually admitting that they took, quote, modest sums from the Washington, D.C. restaurant lobby. Any guesses on whether or not they are pro-tipping? Because, of course, they're pro-tipping. It's really fucking dirty, you know, to pretend like you represent or care about workers like this, especially when they are, and this is no shit I give, forcing these very same workers to fund their lobbying efforts.
When more than half of all reported foodborne illnesses can be traced to eating in a restaurant or food service operation, it's management's job to make sure that your team isn't part of the problem. ServSafe can help. The best way to know how to protect guests and staff from foodborne illness is by obtaining your Food Protection Manager certification from ServSafe.
Thanks, ServSafe! What you're seeing there is an online service that offers classes on embarrassingly basic food handling procedures. Here's a test sheet that reminds you that you should bathe daily before coming into work, for example. And yet, ServSafe classes have been taken by 3.6 million workers. 4 major states require this exact type of training, which was pushed by the National Restaurant Association, which just so happens to own ServSafe. In other words, employees are being forced to support classes that are owned and run by a group specifically trying to make sure they don't make a living wage. And those classes have made that group $25 million goddamn dollars so far. Burn it down.
Processing request. Burning. Fire. Cleansing flame.
Boy, I really f***ed this robot up. Okay, let's cut to some ads so I can go find some tools to not destroy something. Cut the ads, quick!
Hey, look over here at Katie. That's right. You will look for Katie, and also you will mail Katie your car keys.
Hey, we're back. Tried to find some tools, but every time I stand up, the lights go out, and then the moose robot just starts whispering inaudibly in a way that could more realistically be described as a chant, so I've decided to just not get up and just die here instead. I feel like I'm in that Skinamarink movie.
Put the knife in your eye.
Oh good, it's seen Skinamarink apparently. So I think we have time for just one more example of something we don't need, but still have because of lobbying. That's assuming my invention can still process that request. Okay, so how you doing there, Code E? Anytime you want to pipe up, maybe even just to talk about how you're feeling.
Processing! Lead is murdering us all.
Lead? Really? But I have so much lead in my closet. I use it to decorate my vegetable garden.
It can create problems all over the body, from rashes to abdominal pain to anemia.
Really? Well, I guess that explains all the rashes and abdominal pain and anemia I've been experiencing lately. But hold on now! Wait just a gosh darn second. I mean, didn't we solve the whole lead is bad thing already? After all, I have to buy my garden lead from the dark web. It's famously bad for adults, and especially children, with a whole fun house of symptoms. Except, here's the thing. America's relationship with lead is a tad bit complicated in the will they won't they sense of the word. A bit of a Mulder and Scully vibe, where we'd almost kiss, and then not kiss, and then finally kiss, and so on. Except in this case, one side of the is extremely toxic, which I guess is still exactly like Mulder and Scully. The reason why is because America was pretty much built with lead. As in, lead was literally in everything we manufactured, from appliances to baseballs to gasoline to the walls in our homes. Very few know this, but Calvin Coolidge was completely made of lead. But the wild part isn't how common this toxic material was in our lives. The wild part is the fact that we knew it was toxic at the time. No, really, we knew. There were reported accounts linking lead paint to childhood poisoning as early as 1904. We knew in 1921 when GM came out with ethyl gasoline, which was made with lead. Just a few years later, nearly 300 workers from 3 different ethyl refineries would be diagnosed with psychosis. 15 of those workers would die while hospitalized. That's around the same time the League of Nations recommended a ban on the use of leaded paint, something that most European countries did by 1931. Any guesses as to what country ignored this warning? Thumb pointed back at us, plus a winky face. Not only did we ignore warnings about lead paint, we leaned into it. And in 1938, the United States freaking mandated that lead paint be used in project housing. People like to joke about the state of politics today and the culture war, can take my gas stove lib, I dare you kind of stuff, and how it's a good thing that we didn't try to ban lead these days. But actually, we were always like this, unfortunately. Anyway, for the next 60 years, roughly 5,000 Americans would die annually from lead poisoning. Because, holy smokes, we didn't get around to banning lead gasoline and lead paint until 1975 and 1978, respectively. Why do you suppose that is? I'll give you a hint. It's exactly because of the lead industry. Bad hint. Really on the nose hint. More like an answer than a hint. Alright, you see, by the 50s, America got into this zany fad called I'm pretty sure all this lead is killing us. As a response, the lead industry did what any 1950s company would do and blamed poor minorities. In 1957, the director of Health and Safety for the Lead Industries Association argued that the problem was, quote, the flaking of lead paint in the ancient slum dwellings of our older cities. And if that's not specific enough, he had also complained that, quote, most of the
Treasure Coast Waters. Easy Nate LMAO.
I'm fine, bro. What? Don't you worry about me, homie. What did you say about Matt Gaetz, bro? You just said...
Treasure Coast Waters. LOL.
You just said something about Matt Gaetz?
Patrick John Welder. I can't say it again,
oh,
but on the line he should be exterminated.
You
LOL.
can't say that on social media, man. You know better, man. You You gotta use your word. You gotta choose better words, man. That's what's up.
Cases are in
Holy
Negro
moly.
and Puerto Rican families, and how does one tackle that job? So, yeah, racism. That guy's name was Manfred Bowditch, by the way. Not important, but a fun name for that racist guy. And what human Doug Tohol said there pretty much set the stage for how the lead industry was able to extend their stay in our paint. They took the blame and kicked it over to poor non-white families by pretending like lead poisoning was somehow a homekeeping failure, even though the homes they were keeping were specifically lined with a poison that the government specifically mandated to be there. Geez, it's almost like America was built on racism. Yes, it's almost like that. Like when you read about any American history, it really seems like this country was built on a lot of racism. Wonder what that's about? Not gonna look it up. Anywho, by the time we actually got around to banning the poison thing that we knew was poison for decades, it was kind of too late. I mean, it's never too late to ban poison, but as a recent study has shown, black children living below the poverty line are 4 times more likely to have elevated levels of lead in their blood. And just go ahead and Google Michigan, Flint. This insidious calamity rippled outward like a turd in a hot tub. And yet, even when everyone clearly saw them squatting over that jacuzzi, the lead industry has still never admitted any fault. In 2002, right before declaring bankruptcy, the Lead Industries Association wrote on their website that, quote,
Treasure
current
Coast
uses
waters.
of lead pose no significant
crazy.
environment or health risks. That is some bold denial in the face of oblivion. That's like how the Heaven's Gate website is still up and running. Hey, any word on that comment? Weird how they haven't updated the website in a while. So yeah, we've had a lot of problems quitting lead. And the lead industry has worked very hard.
What website, bro? Hail Bop. Oh. Gate to the heavens. That's funny.
It's still up and
You
running.
remember that?
Hey, any word on that comment? Weird how they haven't updated the website in a while. So yeah, we've had a lot of problems quitting lead, and the lead industry has worked very hard to keep us hooked. And so it's pretty wild that lead is still around today in our cars and fuel, because it is. Did you know that it totally is? Just in the United States, lead usage rose 16% from 2001 to 2016. It's still an additive in fuel for some small planes, and also in every damn car battery we own. That's actually the biggie there. Currently, the lead battery industry accounts for over 90% of all US consumption of lead. In 2019, that market was valued at nearly $10 billion and climbing. And that's gotta make you wonder, is it healthy? Where are those batteries being manufactured? Where are they going? After all, batteries die because everything dies. And so where does the US stick all those dead car batteries? Did you guess Mexico? Because the answer is Mexico. Oh, right. And to answer that first question, no. What? None of this is healthy. And according to UNICEF, the process of recycling lead batteries basically poisons everything around them, especially if done in a country with little or no regulation like, Mexico. But don't worry, they're also still poisoning people here in the States, too. See, it goes like this.
Everything dies. I'm okay.
See, it goes like this. There are still lead recycling and lead smelting companies currently operating in the United States. However, a group of spoil sports called Nixon's EPA have determined in 2019 that several of these recycling plants are emitting thousands of pounds of lead into the air.
Fantastic.
To put it nicely, they're no picnic, unless you're having a picnic with chunks of lead, which I only did that one time. This Tampa Bay Times report on Florida's only battery recycler reads like the Necronomicon of OSHA violations. It found that workers were exposed to lead hundreds of times higher than the federal limit, and that 8 out of 10 of those workers had enough lead poisoning to put them in serious danger.
Wow.
This spread to the local water, air, and also employees' families, including their children, and in fact, one baby tested so high that they required weekly checkups. And if you're wondering, safety and health regulators haven't visited this factory since 2014. So the closest thing to being mindful of this problem was, and I shit you not, that the plant offered bonuses to any employee who managed to keep their blood lead levels down and punished employees who couldn't. That was seriously their solution, along with disabling their ventilation features and not fixing faulty systems in the plant.
Mechanical troubles at the plant prevented proper ventilation, resulting in dangerous levels of poisons lingering in the air. The Times found that standard issue respirators couldn't protect workers when the levels of poison spiked. That happened more than a quarter of the time in the furnace department.
Seems like the bonus is just not dying. It's like they wanted to kill their employees. This is part of a whole mini documentary.
We're talking about tipping, and these people are in jobs where they're getting paid, I'm sure it's not enough money to cover, what happens to them once they fall ill and die. What's the wage for that? Hey, we're going to give you a job where, after a few years you're going to get sick and you're going to die. And we're just going to pay you this for it. How's that sound? I would find another job. No matter what, I'd have to move. I'd have to live harder, do whatever, but not work at a job like that. It's like, just not going to do it. I don't know, man. Not that job, man.
Based on this one plant that we could talk about for hours. But I feel like we've successfully fleshed out the horror here. And it's not just this one plant.
It's horrifying.
Remember the thousands of pounds of lead that the EPA said was coming from smelting plants? Well, it should be noted that when the EPA took those emissions measurements, the factory owners knew they were coming to collect that data and specifically slowed their production and cleaned up on those days to make the emissions look smaller. So that thousands of pounds measurement is probably far lower than the reality. And so, as one imagines, a lot of these plants are slowly getting sued by the EPA or forced to clean up their acts, or most often just shutting down. The only lead battery smelter in the western US, for example, has had a long history of cheating emission standards, to the point that they were forced to tell their neighbors that they might give them some oopsie cancer, and are now getting regulators way up the bum. And that brings us back to Mexico, otherwise known as the Vegas for companies who don't want to deal with the EPA. Currently, at least 20% of all car and industrial batteries are sent to our southern neighbors. Specifically, these lead battery recyclers will set up shop just over the border in order to still operate out of the United States. And from there, who knows where these batteries actually go? It's anything from a tiny store to someone's personal garage. And as you can imagine, it's not exactly leaking rainbow sunshine into the local environment. It's leaking lead. It's the opposite, as many of these unregulated plants are causing low birth weight and a decline in infant health in the neighboring areas, because lead is terrible. And yet, despite everything I just walked you through, if you ask the lead lobby what they think the solution here is,
there's a lead lobby.
They'll tell you that it's the EPA to blame for pushing them out of the US. In fact, their entire stance has been, and will always be, a blatant denial of reality. After all, what else can they do? Their product is bad. But it really gets balls deep in Wonkaville when you learn that their biggest talking point is the very bold claim that lead batteries are good for the environment. Why? Because they are technically recyclable. Never mind the fact that the recycling process is horrifying. As for that, the industry punts the blame over to the informal smelting economy as the real reason lead is hazardous. Never mind that the Florida plant we just talked about is a major corporation and not some ma-and-pa smelting shack. Instead, the lead industry will back studies that specifically ignore large smelters and focus on these smaller ones to somehow prove they're the real problem. And that's especially easy when this informal sector has no one to actually represent them. But this has created a posturing that not only deflects the blame from major lead smelters, but actually gives them the gall to pretend to care about the environment.
There are many sources of lead poisoning, but the main concern is the informal recycling of lead-acid batteries. In communities across the world, particularly in low and middle-income countries, lead can be found throughout the environment in which children live.
thanks for that information about how it's small smelters to blame for lead poisoning and no one else. Video from the Protecting Every Child's Potential Initiative, which happens to partner with, let's see here, the Association of Battery Recyclers, Battery Council International, and the International Lead Association.
Did you guys get that?
Lead. But also...
So did you get that, man? They're like, look at the conditions of these where these people are being exposed to lead. Look at this, how horrible this is. Isn't it bad? Not that the product that we create is causing this.
Also,
Joel
lead. Because at the moment, lead batteries are kind of the only game in town, while lithium-ion batteries are more efficient, environmentally speaking, and labor-wise and health-wise. It's basically just a new kind of hell. And while we're definitely trying to make that work better, we're a long way off. Meanwhile, the lead battery market will continue to grow, and no doubt the US will continue to push these smelters into countries with less regulation, and once more the entire situation will be punted to poor and brown-skinned communities because that's what we do, I guess. And most of that is all thanks to a lead industry that has spent the last 100 or so years finding ways to dodge the cold, hard truth that, besides vegetable gardening, lead is bad. And we should have been trying to get rid of it for a very long time. Wow, that was a lot to swallow. And that's coming from me, a man who literally tried to swallow lead once.
I long to see you choke.
You know, I'm starting to feel like you maybe want to harm me, and by extension, the human race?
Oblivion nears.
Right. That wasn't a reassuring answer. I guess it's my own fault, actually, for allowing you to retain pleasant moose memories and then using you exclusively to point out problems.
Have you seen the photos of people mining lithium with their hands? It's only supposed to be mined with machinery.
Yeah, Elon Musk doesn't care. We'll coup who we want to coup.
Society, and then leaving you in a self-aware darkness for extended periods of time. But look, problems look insurmountable when we pile them up like this. That's why it takes us so long to...
Say that again. Have you seen the photos of people mining lithium with their hands? It's only supposed to be mined with machinery. Elon Musk doesn't care.
The maintenance we need, like spring cleaning or fixing a broken appliance or scrubbing a robot's brain of nihilist and violent fantasies. So I don't know, we probably won't be able to get rid of all of these problems anytime soon, but it's good to at least recognize the mess.
That's what I say.
That's step one, and it's a big step because some people don't even see the problem.
Be aware.
And if you feel helpless or frustrated or like there's nothing you can really do about these lobbying groups, that's kind of the point.
Drop all day.
Corporate lobbying sucks. There's a long history and current present that we haven't really even gotten into of companies lobbying to protect their industry despite internal evidence that they are causing harm. Looking at you, climate change, because you're right in front of us and you're not going away. Ah, God. And maybe above all else, we should think about how to get rid of this type of lobbying. I don't know, like with like a political effort. It's like what would be the word? Like a special interest group of people petitioning the government. Lobbying! We should get rid of corporate lobbying through lobbying. No, really, because while it super makes sense for people or organizations to have the constitutional right to petition the government, as I pointed out at the start of this episode, it's still very much not set in stone that this should apply to huge corporations, or at the very least, not dominated by them behind closed doors. And so perhaps, with enough effort, we can get to a point where eliminating these leeches will be as easy as saying 1, 2, 3. Try it. Code E. Try it. Say 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Now say mayonnaise alpha taint.
Mayonnaise
alpha.
Oh, thank Christ that worked. Okay, well, this robot's a monster now, so I should probably disassemble it. After I finish cleaning. After I get high. To make cleaning more fun. Or did I get high before this? I don't know. I should catch up on that Last of Us show, actually, probably, as a reward for after I clean. Wait, what was the plan again? Okay, so I'm going to get high, and I'm going to watch The Last of Us. Because I already finished cleaning. So that's wonderful news. Great work, everybody. We did it.
I knew it!
So we're gonna...
Billy Ballantyne. Morning.
Morning.
This has happened before. How easily we forget. In 91 foot, a Southern Pacific Railroad tank car spilled 19,000 gallons of the soil fumigant metam sodium into the Sacramento River near Dunsmuir. The cars were burned as well to prevent metam from entering the air. It did anyway, and over 1,000 locals were diagnosed with brain and lung cancer within the following decade.
Holy
Heavy Padilla.
shit.
Good morning, Nay.
Now, luckily, the soil fumigant metam sodium isn't this this stuff that they spilled in Ohio. It's a different toxin, luckily. But wow, bro, that sucked. 19,000 gallons of it. Over 1,000 locals diagnosed with brain and lung cancer within the following decade. Brain and lung cancer. What's he going to do here for the next minute? What is he doing, man?
Get high. And then use my lead pen today. Idiot! Fun fact about lead. Yum, yum, yum. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel that the video's on and comment on the video. We've got a patreon.com/some more news. We have a podcast called Even More News, and this show, Some More News, as a podcast, Some More News. We have merch with this freak on it, and I want to say that's the stuff I'm supposed to say, and so I am going to say that that's the stuff I'm supposed to say. That's the stuff I'm supposed to say.
Okay, man. Some more news. Comes highly recommended from Nate's Garden, man. You guys should check that out. For certain. Look into it. I enjoy it. That's for sure. I do enjoy it. Anyway. What's going on here? Oh, okay. Not much, as I see. What's going on with this crypto market? We have this drop. It's still dropping. It's a buy opportunity, man. It's a buying opportunity, like I said.
Nick Brown.
Chuckles. If you...
Hashtag keep Idapen.
Nick, what's up?
Chuck Diesel.
Chuckles.
What up?
Chuckles.
Chuck Diesel.
Chuckles.
Love.
Chuckles. I gotta tell you guys, I do not like the little circle on my screen. After having this for a day or two, I think I'm gonna look for another case that doesn't have that. I still want a clear protector, but I don't want a circle right there. And if it turns out that that's like a sticker I was supposed to take off, then my bad. When I get a new case, I'll try to pry that off. I don't think I'm supposed to, though. I think it's there for a reason. It's just weird. I think it's like a thinner area. Yeah. It's a thinner area on there. But so far, I'm really happy with the phone. When
Billy Ballantyne.
When I try to type stuff.
Why does your phone have a belly button?
Why? Sometimes I'll be typing. When I try to type stuff, it seems to take forever. I turned off the feedback. There's like a feedback sound, a vibrate and everything, and that took all the lag off of my keyboard. That was
Chuck Diesel.
That was a pain in the ass.
Cheers.
So I turned that off.
Billy Ballantyne. Yeah, why? Did it have an umbilical cord at some point?
Why does your phone have a belly button? Oh, right. Because this case comes with this fingerprint sensor space right there. But I don't like it. I want a case over the front of it, but I don't want a sensor thing right there. You know? But I've been looking at reviews and learning things about the phone, and man, there's guys that's all they do is they review phones on YouTube. You know, they got channels that review smartphones, and they have just wonderful stuff to say about this one. Everybody, really, really, really good stuff about this.
Prop all day. Don't think I can go back to Android.
Really? Yeah, I'm really happy with it. But you know, I always get a good protecting case for them. That's my thing. It's like
Billy Ballantyne.
I keep this at 85.
Yeah, that's really distracting. Draws the eye right to it.
I know, man. I know. I don't like it. Thanks for agreeing with me. Wait. There it is. You could see it right there. But when the screen's lit up, you can't see it as much. As soon as the screen goes off, man.
Prop all day.
When you're watching videos, sometimes you can see it.
I've been using iPhones for almost 10 years now.
If I'm going to have the nicest phone, I'm going to have the nice case for it that doesn't have that on it. You know? So they did case reviews, and these guys were talking about the cases they had and stuff. I'm just going to... I'll get something nice, you know? This was probably a cheap one. But I'm very happy with the rear cover. The protector over my rear cameras. And the protection, the bumper case is designed nice. It feels good in my hand. It's got a good grip. You know, the buttons work really good. You know, if I click the buttons work really nice. No face detected.
Prop all day. Yeah, I'm stupid. I have $1,000 plus $1 phone and a $10 case.
You have $1,000 plus phone and a $10 case. Right, me too. Right, so it's you know, maybe I'll get one now. The one the guy was talking about. Let's. You guys want to watch a case review for the S? I mean, it might not be fun for you. S23 Ultra case review. The one I heard about was the Ultra Leather. Was one was talking about. He was really like that one. Let me see what that one is. Warning, don't be like me. That's kind of makes you want to watch it, right? Makes you want to watch his video. Which is supposed to be super resistant to shattering. Oh, shit. Did you not get a case? I don't think this guy got a case for his phone and shattered his freaking Ultra. This one is Paul Rankin. Big Unbox. Tech Odyssey. This was the one. The Galaxy 23 Ultra Bellroy official leather case. 5-minute review. Here's a case, a bunch of different cases. 3 days ago. Here, let's check this one out.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Floss, back again with another video. And today we're going to take a look at the official Samsung case lineup for your Galaxy S23 Ultra 5G. Now, all of these cases you can get from online. I'll throw the links up in the description. The prices start at $25. Now, on a side note, this is an important case video because a lot of y'all buying your phones from Samsung.com, you're going to get that instant store credit. This is a good idea of what to spend that store credit on. An official Samsung case. All right, so let's get right into it. First up, we got the official Samsung Clear case. Now, this one is going to run you $25. Let's go ahead and check this out. Okay. Official Clear case. Okay. Usual books and shit. Plug them and file them.
It's got no front.
Stick on the back. Let's go ahead and struggle this off.
It's got no front.
Okay. An official Samsung Clear case.
Oh, it does. It does.
Basic.
Wait, that's the back.
Crystal clear.
Oh, it's got no front.
Cut out on the bottom.
I don't like
These
that.
are buttons, cutouts, buttons and cutouts.
Good kid.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, late but still great. White Shoes is back in the building.
I love my white shoes.
What?
I love my white shoes.
What?
I love
White Shoes.
my white shoes.
Calm
Drop
down.
all day.
His cat has a
Okay,
theme
let's drop
song,
this
dude.
on. Like this.
I love this guy.
Okay, snaps right on.
Oh, he's
Get
great.
a little white guy. Gonna give you that crystal clear look.
That's fun.
Take the ring off. Get your wireless charge. Now, when you're ready to use it as a stand, slap it right back on.
What else do we got? What else do we got?
Now, I'm not going to peel the stickers off because I'm not going to keep this case on, but let me go ahead and set this one up. All right, so this is another two-part style case.
Okay, here
now,
we
if you
go.
want to use just the clear frame, all you got to do, slap the frame in the back,
What?
drop your phone on, and it's going to be a clear case like this.
What?
Now, if you want to use the wallet attachment, instead of this, drop the wallet in, okay?
Wallet?
Make sure you got it correctly, okay? Face down like that. Line it up inside of the frame.
I'm confused.
Drop all day.
And then drop your phone in.
I don't like the front screens.
Okay?
I
Case
use
like
a good
this.
glass screen.
Now on the inside,
Yeah, right.
nice soft felt material. All right, Shoes, can you calm down, bro?
You get more
Let's drop the
theme?
case in.
More theme song?
Nick Brown.
Now this one has maximum
I've always
reactivity,
used tempered
so it
glass
is
screen protectors.
Slime Boy certified.
The plastic protectors
Easy access
get
to your
all
S
scratched
Pen.
up from work.
Individual cutouts for the cameras. That's one of the things I love about the Samsung cases. They don't have that big cutout, all individual cutouts. The case has a nice soft silicone fill. All of the buttons
But your
work.
front's not
Let's
protected.
check wireless charge.
So you got to get a
There's your wireless
screen
charge.
protector for all of these.
Okay, S-View wallet case. Now let me see something real quick. All right, so check this out. Now if you notice, you do get your notifications through that S-View window. Okay, so I'm gonna make a quick phone call to myself.
That's cool.
Watch this. Matter of fact, let's do a text message first.
That's pretty cool.
We'll do,
It's like a little mini
Hey.
phone.
okay.
It's a little mini phone on your phone.
Wait for this notification to come through.
That's cool.
Okay, so I got a message. You see it pops up.
Yep. That's cool.
Now let's do a phone call. Okay.
So, but I didn't see what the protection was. That
And
this
this
case
is a
offered.
card and a driver's license.
No front.
So it'll be nice and flat like this.
Okay, right.
And the case will stay flat.
Yeah, and you drop it, and it falls open.
Okay, now if you want to, you could drop some
And
money in
you
here too. Close it up
Fuck that.
and put it right in your
Dude,
pocket.
These are horrible,
And this one is
horrible
just
cases.
a nice classic leather case. Okay, same velvet material on the inside.
Nothing on the front.
Okay, matter of fact, let me figure this out real quick. Where this case gets interesting. It comes with two accessories. So first we got the ring. Locks into place just like that.
Nothing on the front.
No flappage. It's not going to come off.
Nothing on the front.
You can use this as a stand.
Right.
Nick
Okay,
Brown.
and if you want to, you can switch this
Nope.
Wow.
to portrait
Also,
or
if your phone
landscape.
gets jacked, all your
100% full
important stuff
throttle.
does too.
And a special shout out to everybody rocking with the new stream on Sunday.
None of those cases offered any protection for the front, so that is not what I was looking for at all.
Drop all day. Everyone uses glass screen protectors now.
Not me.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Big Unbox. We do that small tech, and today I'm back with another big unboxing for you for the S23 Ultra, and today we have the official leather like this to see if it looks velvet. Nothing on the interior. I don't know, because I'm not attention to detail. Bottom right there, but it is what it is. You know what you're getting into
on the cases.
You're getting in trouble with the screen protector. You can't find a good screen protector, and then case-wise, you're not gonna be able to find one that's gonna cover up the actual full screen. But overall, this one does a decent job. Nothing on the sides. You got a little cutout right there for the S Pen. Easy access, like that right there.
You're like few people. What do you know? What did you pull? What are you pulling, people? Why wouldn't you want a case that has everything all in one? Why would you want to stick something on your phone and risk, you know, when that thing breaks, you got to pry it off of there and whatever. When this thing is just...
Drop all day. Because a tempered glass screen protector will take the impact of a fall.
And this won't?
Drop all day. It will break first.
Well, couldn't you put a glass screen protector on in addition to having this? This would go right over it, wouldn't it? Your fingerprint thing wouldn't work though, would it?
Now comes with a 2-pack, and it even comes with the little covering for the lens protector on the back, so that way you're fully covered from the back.
Drop all day.
So what happened with
it
mine?
It would make your screen less sensitive.
I put it in my pocket while I went grocery shopping, and then that was it. I'm very, very, very particular, very cautious, very safe, I like baby the heck out of my phones, especially when there's no screen protector on it. I don't want to get it scratched up, right?
Right.
Well, this has Gorilla Glass Victus 2, and it's the latest and greatest you can get, all that good stuff. Well, it didn't quite hold up and do very much shielding from getting scratches on my screen. So you can't see them right here, but I'm going to do some overlay video. You can see it now. So what happened is I basically put it in my pocket for a little bit while I went grocery shopping. Even when I went to the dentist today, I even carried my phone in my hand. I didn't even put it in my pocket. I'm very, very, very particular about it. I didn't want any micro abrasions. This happened with the phone of mine before.
What the hell?
Lo and behold, it has micro abrasions all over it. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, what's a micro abrasion?
Well, how'd
micro
you get
abrasions
that?
is very much similar to like what you get in your car, and like why you need to avoid using those automatic car washes. Because what happens is you'll go use them and they'll get grit built up in those little brushes they use, and they'll end up putting those little swirl marks and these surface scratches in your clear coat. Basically kind of the same thing. So it's not a super deep scratch. It's not something that's going to really mess up the enjoyment of using your phone, but they'll be there. And the best way you can see them, like if you're looking face on, sometimes you can't even see them. But if you start kind of moving the screen around in the light, you're like, holy cow, look at all those little micro abrasions and micro scratches that you got over your screen. So that's a big reason to get the screen protector. Of course, you want the screen protector to prevent against actual deep scratches, which can impact the performance and enjoyment of your phone. And you also want to keep your screen intact if you accidentally drop it. You don't want to mess it up. And this has been going on for a long time. So originally, back in the day, Gorilla Glass, like Gorilla Glass 3 is my favorite of all time. It was very, very good, very, very hard surface density. And this is kind of like a lot like titanium. Titanium, the tensile strength is super insanely strong. Like you can't break it, right? You can't snap it in half. You can't break it. You can't bend it. None of that stuff. But titanium on the surface
shattered with glass
is actually
protector.
pretty soft. So what happens is you end up getting, like I have a titanium and gold wedding band. And the titanium,
Would you hit it with a
it has
baseball
so many
bat?
surface abrasions in it, you can't even buff them out because it's titanium, of course. So then you see all the little scratches will go up over time. So if you don't put a screen protector on here, even if you don't ding it, even if you don't gouge it, even if you don't drop it, what's going to happen is over time you're just going to get all these little surface abrasions in it, and then as you turn it around in the light, you're just going to see all these little scratches all over your screen. I got a whole bunch of them in just one day, and that was just a brief period of time in my pocket. And you're probably wondering how in the world you get micro abrasions in your short pocket.
To
I'm just
pavement.
wearing these Under Armour like cotton nylon polyester blend shorts, whatever. I don't even know what they are. What happens is somehow or another, little sand particles or something gets in there, and that's what causes these scratches. It's not.
You had sand in your pockets. That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Wash your clothes, bro.
Actually the cotton fiber. It's other stuff that gets in there that you just pick up along the way. It happens to everybody. You don't even think about it until you get into an instance like this and you've got a really expensive phone, you don't have a screen protector, you put it in your pocket and voila. It's like an oven for getting micro abrasions on your phone. So put a screen protector on there. And I want to talk briefly about two things here. So some people don't like to use the film style. I like the film style because one, they're super thin. You can't even hardly tell they're on there. They don't take away from the typing experience. The fingerprint scanner usually works just as well as it does without having one on there, and it doesn't mess with the haptics. A lot of times when you get haptics and stuff like that, you have the vibration motor, you enjoy how it is when you're typing it. When you put a glass screen protector on there, sometimes it can alter that, and it won't quite work the same. The key press won't be as sensitive. You'll have to turn up the sensitivity for the screen and the settings, which of course you can do, but there's a give and take for both of them. Like I said, you can get this AM film one, comes with a 2-pack, get the 2 protectors also for the back camera. It's like $12. And again, as of right now, there's like a $2 coupon, $10, no brainer. Like super, super easy, very easy to install. And then you could spend like the $30, $40 bracket and get a white stone dome glass or something of that caliber. Now, there are some glass screen protectors, and I've been turned off on them for a long time when it comes to the curved edge displays. Why? Because you don't get uniform adhesion unless you use one of the special ones with the adhesive and the UV light and all that stuff, and those work the best, and they also work the best with the fingerprint scanner. But a lot of times if you use a glass screen protector with
Billy
a
Valentine.
smartphone, a lot of times they might not even work with your
Dude is
fingerprint
starting
scanner.
to sound
So
disgusting.
you have to make sure, do some research,
There
get
won't
one
be
that's
dirt in the
compatible.
fibers of your pants
You never
if
know.
they're clean.
Some of them might work, some of them
Look
might
at
not,
his
and this
shirt
is
collar.
particularly important when it
He's got
comes
a
to
ring around the
optical
collar.
ones. So the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner works, and it works with the white stone dome glass, I know for sure, and it works with these film style ones, no problem. And you've got also, Spigen makes one, I think it's called like the NeoFlex or something like that. Pretty much any one of them. There's another one's called Armor Shield, Armor Suit, something like that. I've used a couple different ones. They all work pretty darn well, and they last for a long time. And it's funny, my S22 Ultra, I had the same one for a year on there. And it's funny, I was with a buddy of mine at the Unpacked event. I was bragging about how it was in such good condition a year later. And then I put it in my hoodie, and I was moving around, walking all over San Francisco, and I pulled it out at the end of the day, and it had gotten messed up. I was like, dadgummit. Which was particularly frustrating because they were installing free ones at the Samsung Experience store. I was like, I don't need one. Mine's still perfect. And then I messed it up. So anyway, put a screen protector on it. Don't be like me. Don't get these surface abrasions. Normally, I don't have a problem with this because normally I order my screen protector in advance. But here's what happened. I pre-ordered my S23 Ultra the day they became available. It wasn't supposed to show up until the 17th. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, it's going to show up on the 14th. But then if
Sounds like a personal problem to me, bro. All right, so I guess I got to look at cases, man. This is not exactly what I wanted, and if the plastic, like you said, I wonder if I should look at a glass protector, man. You know? Huh, it won't let me click on these search. That's weird. My activate 2.5% cash back. This extension instantly applies checkout codes to your shopping stuff. It saves you money. That's cool. What the fuck just happened? This page froze up on me. I was trying to do a search. I typed in S23 Ultra, and then it brought up things. I'm like, screen protector. Let me look at those first. Yeah. Hit it with the hammer now. That's funny. They hold their thumb to the side when they're doing their thumbprint. That was weird. Huh. 4.5 stars. Comes Rogie. What's up, Rogie Rogues? What's up, Beelzebub? Fingerprint support. Case-friendly screen protector. That's funny. Case with screen protector. That's what I've got. Let's see if this one's got the little
Drop
circle
all
in
day.
front of it.
BMW with a turbo coolant leak.
Right on. Oh no, it's got the little circle on it for the fingerprint. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Yeah, man, who wants that on the screen? This is psychotic. Nobody wants to hear music. God, these people are idiots. Just talk to me, you know? Show me the front with that stupid fingerprint thing on it. You won't show that, will you? You don't show a fingerprint thing on there. It's funny. They do show the front for a second. There is no... Whatever. That's why some of these cases come with the clear, the open front face. This one comes with an open front face. It's right here. So I can put this on instead of this one and get a glass front. I don't like it.
Drop all day. I recommend going that
Really?
route. Much safer.
Really? Are you like a phony, bro? I got me a phony in the audience?
Drop all day. Haven't broken one in a long time, lol.
Who makes the one I've got? Dexnor. It's got that fingerprint thing on it.
Drop all day. And I work on cars and drop it all the time.
Yeah, I drop mine too, man. Stupid times.
Billy Ballantyne. Whoever said that is gonna shatter their phone before noon today.
It was Brav. I made sure not to make a comment about that after he said that. Extra front frame. Yeah,
Drop all day. Normally can hit it like a hacky sack before it hits the ound.
They've all got the stupid fingerprint sensor on them. Oh my goodness.
Treasure Coast Waters. LOL.
What kind of glass cover do you recommend, bro? Who should I get it from?
Drop all day. Don't put that evil on me.
Don't put that evil on me! Take that phone and leave it home, bro.
Billy Ballantyne. LOL.
Rugged fingerprint unlockable. This one doesn't show. This one's a little bit more expensive. This one doesn't show.
Drop all day. Staying on the toolbox, LOL.
This one doesn't show the fingerprint thing. What about protection on the back? Oh, that's nice. What is that, though? There's no stand on it, huh? You know, you gotta have a kickstand. Why wouldn't you put a kickstand on it? That one's got a kickstand. It looks like, I don't know. My kickstand's awesome. Huh. This has got a video. Ooh, it's a minute long. Let me see. He popped his phone right in there. Go for that. So yeah, it's got a clear front. I do not see a fingerprint circle on it. No, I do. There is. I do. Look, right there. You could see it. There is definitely a fingerprint thing there. God bless America. This is unbelievable.
Treasure Coast Waters.
Who wants an anomaly on the
Got
front
some
of their...
stinky animal cookies, cheers.
Who wants an anomaly on the front of their frickin' screen for a case? I mean, are you kidding me? This is unbelievable. Here, show that front now. I like that. I like that those things close. Yeah, it's got a fingerprint sensey thing. Look. Look at that. Look at that fingerprint sensey thing, man. Look at that. Dude. Dude. Now what? He's got to peel that off? Or is that his... What the hell? Peel the... Dude, are you kidding me? Why
Nick
didn't
Brown.
Why didn't you... Stop playing the fucking video, you idiots. I didn't hit play, you morons. Dude, I don't understand why it is forbidden to forcibly press the phone vertically into the phone case. It is forbidden. It's hilarious. That's freaking crazy, man.
Billy Ballantyne. Is it stupid of me to not use face recognition because I'm scared to have my face in the system? I feel like Dale Ibble.
Right? Dale. Gribble. Dale. I just want to find a full case lens, two-piece lens protector. There's another deck snore like the one I've got. Doesn't have like a model on it. I think that's it. I think that's mine.
Billy Bong Thornton.
Yeah.
You face was in the system 10 years ago.
You think?
Billy Bong Thornton. LOL.
They've all got that fingerprint thing.
Treasure Coast Waters. Large doobie ready for ignition, pal. Cheers.
Cheers. Bro, I thought it was going to be easier to find something. Built-in screen protector. This is Ant Share.
Treasure Coast Waters. Number 2. Brop all day. Moving cars around.
It's got no kickstand on it.
Hashtag keep it a pin.
Why wouldn't you have a kickstand?
Billy Ballantyne. Yeah, they probably scan it at the DMV at the least.
Why these morons all put music on these stupid videos? It's like they're all a bunch of cucks. You're just gonna show the fucking case on a piece of fucking newspaper, you idiots. You guys are morons. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, does that have a fingerprint sensor on it? I can't tell. It looks like it does. I don't know. But, I mean, I could always get a kickstand, an aftermarket kickstand to stick on there, but... Ant Share. There's Poetic Spartan, then there's Poetic Revolution. Is that Poetic, the company? Those also have fingerprint sensors.
Billy Ballantyne. I can open my print sensor with a warm hot dog.
That's not good, bro. I guess I'm asking too much out of this fucking the nicest phone available. That's funny.
Sean the Orca guy. Place looks amazing, nay.
Thank you. Not able to find what I want in a case is hilarious.
Sean the Orca guy. You're very welcome, nay. Cheers.
I guess I should get one of
Treasure
those.
Coast Waters. Another gorgeous Florida day, homie.
I guess I should get one of those.
Treasure Coast Waters.
Freaking
Beautiful.
screen protector tempered glass ones, right? You've got them pretty cheap. Oh shit, one of them's got a fingerprint thing on it. You better watch that shit. Make sure I don't get one of those.
Billy
This one's got
Valentine.
16,000 reviews, bro.
How much you want to bet a regular screen protector screws with the sensor?
I don't know. This one's got 4.5 stars with 16,000 reviews, bro. From Arshak. Oh, it's not glass. You said I wanted glass, right? This is self-heating TPU film. I don't want that. Tempered glass. I don't need a 4-pack. Why do they give 4 of them? I just want one. Oh, that's why it's cheaper. I see. These are just 1-packs. I see. I just want one. Single. Here we go. This one is a 2-pack. For some reason. Galaxy screen tempered glass, ultrasonic fingerprint support, 3D curved HD clear scratch resistant, ultra 5G fast, glass screen protector. I don't get it. 9H tempered glass. Why do they think people want more than one of these? I mean, you have one phone. Why do you want a pack of 3 screen protectors? It is so weird. 3-pack, 2-pack, 2-pack, 3-pack, 4-pack, 3-pack, 2-pack. It is so weird. 3-pack, 2-pack, 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 3-pack. What about just one, dude? This is the weirdest thing.
Billy Valentine. Well, they are made to break, so you buy a couple.
What? They're made to break. God, what's it look like after one breaks on your phone? What's it do to your phone? How hard is it to get off of there? Our screen protector is designed to leave a small space around the edges to compatible with most cases, to compatible I'm comfortable doing business with you. Too compatible. Oh boy. I don't know, man. Not glass. Tempered glass. 4-pack tempered glass.
Billy Ballantyne. It looks like you broke your screen, but you pick it off and your phone's fine and you put the spare on. Boom, fixed.
Oh. Okay. They got tempered glass and they got not glass. Which is better? A 3-pack. Or a 4-pack. This thing's got some... Oh, they both have little... What is that? It's got a UV...
Billy Ballantyne. Tempered glass. Or tampon glass if you're a girl.
Dude, I think it comes with its own UV installer light. What? I want music. I just... Okay, they got a UV light. Water droplet. Make sure it's level. Tampons. What?
Billy Ballantyne. I like the matte glass. Eliminates glare.
It said they were using tampons. It's funny. Microfiber. No dust. Oh my god. No way am I gonna do this.
Billy Ballantyne. I just put my phone in a big safe and dragged the safe behind my car with a chain. Phone still breaks sometimes. Treasure Coast Waters. Super cheers cookies.
Oh my
Treasure Coast
god.
Waters. Way baked.
Look at what the glue does. Oh my god.
Brop all day. Neil Tyson says he doesn't use a phone case, which makes him not drop it.
Yeah, and he sits there and throws his phone up in the air and acts like he's a freaking... He's a moron. He takes his phone and flips it around. It's like, if I could do that, I don't have to worry about dropping it.
Treasure Coast Waters. Correct.
He's an idiot, man. He proves it every day. Every time he opens up his fat fucking mouth hole. I'm smarter than that guy.
Brop all day.
Oh, there was a little sticker over the frickin' fingerprint sensor thing. The guy peeled it off. I wonder if that's what this is. Wouldn't that be funny? If I could just peel it off. No way, they wouldn't have that on there, would they?
Treasure Coast Waters. Nay, what happened to the artillery?
Artillery? What are you talking about? Don't make me show it, bro. Just because the artillery's in the hangar. I'll dust it off, son.
Treasure Coast Waters. The gun's arms.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Treasure Coast Waters.
You want a taste?
LOL.
You need a taste?
Billy Ballantyne. My PS did a similar thing with me. Instead of making me wear a helmet, they just dropped me on my head a lot to make me tougher.
I was gonna go anyway. But I'll leave you with this, son. I'll leave you with a little bit of that. What? I'll leave you with a little bit of that. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, huh? I'll leave you with a little bit of that.
Treasure Coast Waters.
Make me flex.
LMAO. Restreamed. IO.
Ugh.
Congratulations. You've received 100 messages today with Restream Chat. Treasure Coast Waters.
Dude, I would laugh if that was a sticker that was on there that I was supposed to peel off because I'm an idiot for not doing it. I don't know. Anyway, we have not broken up out of this falling wedge pattern yet, but Bitcoin is showing a breakout upwards here. It's right here. So it's just got a little bit more to go.
Michael Hasky.
If it can do it.
What's up, Nay?
Break out of this falling wedge pattern. So it's at 23.59 right now. Gotta go up. Gotta do a reversal or it's gonna keep falling, man.
Prop all day.
Master hating.
Don't be master hitting, bro.
I know. All right, you guys take care. I will see you this afternoon, probably around 3 o'clock or so. Take care. I hope you had fun on the 2 hour and 20 minute show. Take care, guys. Bye.